So this is a really common question we get. There are two reasons to publish content. One, to find what's working. Two, to scale what's working. Okay, that's it. If you are not doing one of those two things, you probably shouldn't be publishing content. What we see a lot of organizations go wrong is they start publishing content with sort of the throw shit against the wall strategy and see what sticks, except they don't measure what sticks. They don't have a plan to measure what sticks or anything like that. They're just like, hey, let's throw out 150, 200 pieces of content, 50 pieces of content a day, whatever it is. And then that's it. And then they move on. That's usually a mistake because you're not doing one of those two things. You're not finding what's working and you're not measuring what's working. So number one, finding what's working, that can be broken down into some other steps. In order to find something that's working when you're testing pretty much anything that involves data, you really need to have a hypothesis. All right. If you don't have a hypothesis, you're not really going to learn much. You can go measure data and see the impact of a piece of content. But if you didn't set out to create that piece of content with a strategy in mind and some rationale of why you think it's going to work, all you're going to know is that it did something or not. It drove traffic, it drove leads, it drove sales or not. You're not going to know why. You're not going to be able to take that information and apply it to future tests. And so you really need to develop, anytime you're testing, develop a hypothesis ahead of time. And so let's say you're going to publish 10 pieces of content a day. Maybe you break those down into 2 pieces for X strategy, 2 pieces for Y strategy. And those are your hypotheses, right? You're trying to publish content to validate or invalidate your hypothesis. Maybe your hypothesis is, all right, our audience wants to, will really respond to, I don't know, quizzes. I'm just using something stupid here. To quizzes posted on the site. So you post, so 2 of your pieces of content that day are going to be quizzes, right? And then maybe your idea is, all right, our audience is going to respond to listicles. I'm assuming we're like BuzzFeed here. So no organization is going to do this, but listicles, right? Okay, so 2 of our pieces of content today are going to be listicles. Our other hypothesis is they're going to respond to X. It helps if you further refine those hypotheses and say, all right, we think they're going to respond to this, but here's why we think they're going to respond to this. And that can help you come up with better pieces of content and better tests to validate or invalidate those hypotheses. So that's step 1, develop a hypothesis. Step 2, figure out what content will help you validate or invalidate that hypothesis and plan that into your rotation and publish that. And then you do that and figure out what's working and what's not working. So it's a very methodical process of learning. You're not just throwing shit against the wall and hoping that it sticks, right? Step 2 is scale what's working. So once you find one of those things that is working, take that out of the test rotation and start scaling the heck out of that. That's another big mistake we see people make, is they find something that's working and then they just cruise on it. Man, you should be shoveling dump trucks full of cash at that strategy if you got it. I mean, push that strategy hard. As soon as you find something that's working, hammer it, put the throttle down. Take advantage of that, milk it, because it's probably not going to last forever. Other people are going to see what you're doing. They're going to copy it. You're going to have competition. Your audience is just going to not be into that type of thing later on. So a lot of this stuff, when you find something that's working, it may not work forever. So you should take advantage of it in the short term. So just remember those 2 things. Whenever you're publishing content, there's two goals you should have in mind. You should either be finding stuff that's working or scaling stuff that's working. And that's it.